if there's a lot within that needs to get out, then we need a big pain thing to happen, which brings us full circle to everything is for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not for the pain, then the crack wouldn't happen, and we're walking around with all this inside that
Mm-hmm.
needs to get out, but it can't get out unless there's a
Mm-hmm.
crack.
That pain, if the crack, if that's not there, you can't wake up. If you are awakened in the sense to what's happening within the avatar, what's happening from the soul, from the mission that the soul came here to accomplish, right? What's your calling, how to get there? In some sense, we have to have a trust that everything, like you were saying, happens for us.
If you turn the why into a what do you have for me? What is here for me to do with this? Rather than why is this happening to me, I flip that over and turn it into a what.
What is it trying to show me, kind of thing, right?
What is it? Yeah. What do you want me to do with this?
Where have I had thoughts that I have not noticed, maybe? Where have I had some emotions that I have not noticed, that I kind of just like dismissed, right? Asking yourself this different question, instead of why to me, why is it happening to me? How can I claim responsibility for this? It's like back to frequency precedes form, right? So the thought has to be thought at some point, feeling has to be felt at some point to create a vibration. Then the vibration that then creates the actual form, the actual experience that allows us to act upon something, then that creates whatever experience physically.
The people that are abusive, they are separate from their knowing that they are love. It has nothing to do with trying to abuse us. That's how their pain's coming out of them. And the intuition, it sounds like your own voice. You don't cringe when you hear it. When it's the ego and it's doubt or fear, it's like, oh, and we want to like turn away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Intuition never ever talks that way.
Welcome back to another Awake and Aware podcast session. Tammy and I today are going to discuss how is pain a catalyst to awakening? How important it is not to just try to push it away or snooze it. And we're going to touch on the mission in life. Why are we doing all this? What happens once we have figured out our health? What happens once we have improved our financial situation? Once we found love in life? Love as in a relationship or some way of being in this life that feels satisfying. Then what? What is the purpose? Why are we here? What are we here to do? Each one of us obviously comes here with some sort of a mission, and eventually throughout the lifetime of experiences, we get to some point where we get a vision of some sort to what we could do in life. Because I feel like the possibilities are endless, really. You can come up with anything. You can decide that you want this one day, and the next day you want that, and you want something else. There's all sorts of desires to have. Eventually, though, I feel like we're going to come to this point where, either you're growing older and you feel like you want to leave some sort of legacy, something to allow this world to remember you, whether it's your offsprings or whether it's your obviously family or whether it's a company, a business or something that, you helped out the world some way. That's really, in the end, we want to be noticed. I feel like that's one of the missions or purpose things that we have in life is to connect and touch someone else, affect someone else. And in that sense, gain this experience of what it feels like to be connected to the whole. Just being in that state of love, being in that state of connection with the essence or divine essence of life. Without any further ado, help me welcome Tammy back and let's get into the discussion. Welcome back to another Awake and Aware session. And back with me is Tammy. Thank you so much, Tammy, for being here. Always so good to have you, and you're the beautiful soul that you have that shares this wisdom with us. All right, we can jump in.
Pain is the entry point.
Pain is the entry point. True that.
What if pain is the entry point,
Yeah.
or wake up call is used all the time, but like I'm trying to another
Catalyst.
term. Yeah.
Catalyst
Like
to
if
awakening.
not Yeah, like if not for.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill talks about it. Like it's people that make drastic transitions
Mm-hmm.
or any kind of changes that are just such a different redirect. It's usually from some kind of crisis, whether it be an illness, an accident, a breakup, a death, anything. It's something traumatic that cracks. Like, and we need the crack. If the pain is what cracks the life open, then if we believe that, like A Course in Miracle teaches, that we are love and our function is to be light givers, happiness, that is our function. That is
Mm-hmm.
what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that is believed to be true and that is what we are, then when there's a crack, anything not needed is going to come out of the crack,
Mm-hmm.
but in is going to come more air that's going to grow the love that we already are. Because love can't leave. The love that we are can't ooze out of the crack. Like it stays, it can't come out. Nothing makes it come out of us. It's not possible to lose the love that we are. Love forgets no one, as the Course says, but it can't leave. You can't make yourself not be love. Period.
Mm-hmm.
End of story. Any
Mm-hmm.
belief that you can is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that being true, then the crack, the pain, the whatever the pain is, no matter what, it's just the more traumatic it is, the bigger it is, the bigger the crack, but it doesn't matter because then it just lets in more light and it lets out. So if there's a lot within that needs to get out, then we need a big pain thing to happen,
Mm-hmm.
which brings us full circle to everything is for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not for the pain, then the crack wouldn't happen. And we're walking around with all this inside that
Mm-hmm.
needs to get out, but it can't get out. It can't unless there's
Mm-hmm.
a crack.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. So what do we do when there is a lot of cracks, when it becomes overwhelming, right?
Mm,
Because it happens so often. I feel that sometimes when the illness comes, it snowballs. Like there is another one that pops up and another one and something else goes. It's like when it rains, it pours, right? Kind of thing with a illness sometimes. And or you just learn that, hey, I just went on a routine checkup and then all of a sudden they found something and all of a sudden I have to have brain surgery, heart surgery, whatever. And it's such a rattling experience, like you're speaking to, that
mm-hmm,
pain. If the crack, if that's not there, you can't wake up. So, and for me, it's like the again speaking to being awake, speaking
mm-hmm,
to being aware of what's happening in this lifetime, in this body, in this avatar, right? So if you are awakened in the sense to what's happening within the avatar, what's happening from the
mm-hmm,
soul, from the mission that the soul came here to accomplish, right? What's your calling? What's the how to get there? And so, in some sense, we have to have a trust that everything, like you were saying, happens for us.
mm-hmm.
That even that crack, even that pain, even that, rattling of our cage is going to bring us to where we are supposed to go in a sense. And if I say supposed to go, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
whether there is some sort of predetermined or predestined path or not, I don't think that matters as much because we are creating our path as we go in some sense. And in another
Mm-hmm.
sense, I feel like we all have some sort of a karmic energy that is going to fulfill in itself.
Yes.
It's like there is a
Mm-hmm.
whether I take this road or that road doesn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily matter sometimes because I'm gonna get there, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, whichever way I take. So the experiences are going to be garnered for me to create the learning point that I needed to, where the karma can shift.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank
Yeah.
you. Starts with pain. I love that.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, I love that you brought into it like, okay, yeah, but all right, what if when it rains it pours and everything comes?
Yeah.
And I'm answering this from my experience is that what I learned through the storms keep coming, they kept coming for me until I surrendered into them and didn't view them as attacks
Hmm.
because defiance is attacking back. And when I say defiance, I mean victimhood or the focus on even if you're not victimizing, even that, why is this happening to me? Like just that alone. Like why? What's going on?
Right.
That's not the best why. That
I
or
agree.
yeah, because I don't want to call it wrong, but like the why of what? If you turn the why into a what do you have for me?
Yeah.
What is here for me to do with this?
Yeah.
Rather than why is this happening to me? I flip that over and turn it into a what.
What is it
You
trying
know,
to show me kind of thing, right?
what is it? Yeah. What do you
Hmm.
want me to do with this?
Hmm.
But that took time. You keep banging on the door because you think you can break it down. Or if a door's locked, like you keep trying it.
Yeah.
Have you ever like when it's and you go and try it and it's locked and you're like, oh no, and you keep trying it and you know it's not going to open, it's locked, but you go back and try it a few more times
Yeah.
instead of just, okay, that door's locked.
Yeah.
How else can I get to the destination I need to get to?
Yeah.
Do I need to make a phone call? Is did I get locked out of the house and, my infant is inside?
Right.
Okay, that's a little
Yeah.
bit of a, you're going to panic, but like,
Yeah.
okay, there's no wrong turns. Everything is right as long as with the intention of growing, expansion, this is here for me. With that intention, there's no wrong turns. No
Hmm.
matter which way we go,
Hmm.
there's not anything wrong. The way I would say to transform the, oh my god, it keeps happening, another thing, another thing, another thing.
Hmm.
The sooner that we transform whatever it is. So let's take something, simple, diagnosis high cholesterol. Okay.
Hmm.
Doctor's like, okay, you're going to have to take this pill for the rest of your life and we're going to have to manage this with medication and, we're going to have to go about it that way. Well, let's try diet first.
Hmm.
Maybe, okay, yep, you got the blood work and it doesn't look good and the doctor's worried and okay, it could become a bigger problem.
Hmm.
Okay, understand. I'm not denying it and going to go off and continue eating the way I ate or whatever. I'm not going to deny that the blood work is telling me.
Yeah.
However, is there another way? Is there another door that might be unlocked? Can we
Yes.
try it first? And
Hmm.
maybe you might need medication later on. Maybe you have something that you need, or maybe you do need a surgery. Okay, fine. You're not denying that it might be there.
Hmm.
And so the quicker that we transform that and step into the energy of, okay, what's here for me with this, the sooner that that happens, the crisis point lasts a shorter time.
Mm.
They don't stop.
Mm. Yeah.
The trials don't stop coming because you take on this mindset. It
Yeah.
might still, you know, when it rains, it pours. You might have a year of like something. It might be a lot.
Hmm.
But if you think it's here for you and you get right away to the what is here for me, what should I do with this? It's it's like massively cuts down the time and the duration of it.
Hmm.
And, you might come out of it healthier than you would ever been.
Hmm.
Maybe the blood work comes back and maybe your whole life changes. Maybe you go and like become a nutritionist because you realized how healthy you got when you started eating differently. And then maybe you become a nutritionist and help other people because of your blood work that came back not good. And you made the decision to try something instead of, right? Like things like
Hmm.
that's how it happens and transforms,
Right.
is, things like that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We never know what choice is going to take us where and what's going to transpire from making
Yeah.
that choice, right? Yeah, I love how you reframe the why is this happening to me to what is this bringing me? That I feel like it's a very crucial reframe, I think, for
Mm-hmm.
all of us that to try and practice,
Yeah.
because it's again all about the practice. If you don't practice, nothing changes. So, and it's as difficult as it may be, and I'm not saying that I would want to deny someone the experience of sadness, of grief, or of a pain, of a hurt, of whatever you're feeling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And asking yourself this different question, instead of why to me, why is this happening to me? And,
Mm-hmm.
somebody help me or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like, how can I claim responsibility for this? It's like back to frequency precedes form, right? So
Yeah.
the thought has to be thought at some point, feeling has to be felt at some point to create a vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Then the vibration that then creates the actual form, the actual experience that allows us to act upon something, then that creates whatever experience physically. So in that sense, like where have I had thoughts that I have not noticed, maybe? Where have
Mm-hmm.
I had some emotions that I have not noticed that I kind of just
Yeah.
like dismissed, right? And
Mm-hmm.
obviously trauma happens to anyone. If you call it
Yeah.
that, small trauma, big trauma, doesn't matter. It's a
Mm-hmm.
it's a lack of love.
Yes.
Lack of love translates in some sense as trauma. Whether it's
Yeah.
I got almost killed, or my dignity was taken away, or I had said something to my spouse that I didn't mean to, and I feel guilty, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Smaller things to bigger things doesn't matter. But again, it's just the lack of love. And when
Yeah.
when there wasn't perception of love to be felt at the moment, we denied it, then you would definitely fall
Mm-hmm.
into that kind of a why
Yeah.
to me, the victim role kind of thing. And so the way to step out of it, I feel like what you pointed out
Mm-hmm.
is to just ask
Yeah.
what is it teaching me to look to take responsibility for. Yeah.
Right. For me, it's the starting point of all work that I do. The
Hmm.
first thing and the thing that I'm here to do is to guide people into remembering who they are as love.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like when I'm asked to say, "Well, what do you do? Like what is your product? What do you do?" That's what it is.
Hmm.
Because in my opinion, for the people that come to me, it's you can make changes, but for everlasting and life changes, that's the foundation. It's like a house. I mean, it needs to be on a good foundation because you can go buy all the pretty furniture and spend thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars on the stuff that goes in the house.
Yeah.
But if the foundation isn't solid, if the structure is not built well, meaning with love,
Hmm.
well, the roof is going to leak and the windows, and you're not going to be protected by the storms. So, the foundation of the remembering that we are love, that is our structure. So,
Yeah.
then when the storms come,
Hmm.
okay, it's stormy out, but
Hmm.
I'm in here. I'm safe in here
Hmm.
because I remember who I am. It's like the rain isn't as bad as if you remember that you have an umbrella and you remember that you can use it, then you're not going to get wet on your way to the car because you have to go out in the storm. You got to remember, I have an umbrella. Remember that you are
Yeah.
love. And when you do that, and that is the most powerful to be, there's nothing that's it. Then, yes, the trial is still hard. The surgery is still hard, the anything. But you can handle it because your structure of your being is love, and nothing can break love. Everything that comes from love is a miracle. So
Mhm.
we don't need to go out there seeking miracles. We already are. And if we just focus on that, then more come because now we're attracting them. Sounds simple, but
Yeah.
it's kind of the starting point. Hmm.
Yeah. Thank you again. It's simple, very simple. And then I know that
Hmm.
for some people, this may feel like, the magic of the love. And they talk about love all the time. And it's getting tiring, right? The point being is that without that you really are imprisoned. You really are. And I'm
Yeah.
saying it because I have felt that myself many, many, many years in some
Mm-hmm.
sense, right? Maybe lifetimes. I don't know. And that imprisonment is being cynical is an imprisonment. Being judgmental is an imprisonment, right?
Hmm.
Being anything but love, like we say,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
imprisonment, right? And
Hmm.
it's a trauma again because love is the truest essence that we know
Yeah.
here in
Hmm.
this realm, in this reality, in this
Hmm.
dimension. I don't even want to talk about feelings and emotions necessarily, but that state of being that
Hmm. Yeah.
that when you are in love with, just in love,
Yes.
in
Hmm.
love with life, in love with
Yeah.
everyone, everything. Like I want to point it out because especially for guys, I think for masculine
Hmm.
energy, we don't say I love you most easily, I would say. I can say, I like something or someone, but love and then being in love in sense not with like the physicality, sure physicality as well, whatever,
Hmm.
but just being in love with the soul.
Yeah.
That's just such a depth of experience. Again, I don't
Hmm.
even want to say feeling or emotion because that doesn't even touch it,
Hmm.
you know.
It's
That's
authenticity.
yeah, yeah, it's just being in that authentic space.
Yes. There's so many conversations around authenticity, being authentic. You live your
Mhm,
truth, say your truth. Well, when we're comfortable talking about love, we're being authentic. Period.
mhm,
Period.
mhm,
All the other stuff that we might go try to be and do so that we
mhm,
can call ourselves authentic. Like, no, I
mhm,
showed up and I told the truth and I have integrity. Yes, wonderful.
mhm,
But that's just being who you are. And it needs to be
mhm.
more comfortable and more common.
Yeah.
This fear around, like, and that's what, I'm here to dissolve that. We don't need that. There's no weakness to it. That is strength.
Yeah.
That is strength. Say it, be it, do it. Like the people that are most resistant to it, they're the
Mhm.
ones that are in the most pain and feel the least amount
Yeah.
of love
Yes.
and need to hear it the most. So
Yeah.
when we do it or show it and somebody gets like, or they pull away or they get angry or they kind of react poorly, I encourage people like, don't feel it's not against you showing love if somebody reacts. So if we go out there and somebody reacts to us,
Mhm,
all that says to us is the level of pain that person's in, that they
mhm,
can't touch the
mhm,
natural state of being that they are.
mhm.
Like, if we cannot take it personally and just, we don't have to shove it down people's throats and all that. Be gentle about it because lack of love is why anything's happening that isn't anything other than love. It's only happening because people feel they lack it. And to your point about judgment, it's a prison and it's like, when we judge somebody else, we're actually judging ourselves, so we're actually locking ourselves into the prison
Yeah.
of the judgment.
Yes.
And so, again, if we say, okay, where is that? That's
Mhm,
kind of a where one for me. Like,
mhm,
where is that in me? I
mhm.
just judge somebody for, I don't know, the way they're driving or something, or they're being
Mhm.
aggressive.
Yeah.
And if you start, like I say, with the small things, and it's all part of awareness because we're judging ourselves somewhere for
Yeah.
that. And
Yes.
if we can turn it around and solve it, then everybody heals. Then
Yeah.
nobody else is being judged, but we're healing the judgment in us if we do that too.
Yeah.
It all
Yeah.
can be cured with it, all of it. It's like the course says, teach only love because love is what you are.
Yes.
So just teach that in any way
Yes.
that we can. We teach it by being an example of it.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Beautifully said, beautifully summarized.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and so now let's say that yeah, we have love. We're acting from that space of love. Let's say that's a scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And we are meeting with people in life where, some of the experiences are difficult and we handle them, and some of them experiences are really joyful and we are able to receive them. Um, wow, if that happens to you, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say that the body is healed. Let's say that the mind is really doing pretty well because you're understanding that your essence of
Mm-hmm.
love more so than your physical shell,
Mm-hmm.
which of course is important through which you're experiencing life. But let's say you have this awareness. Now what? Okay, so you don't have necessarily any too big of things to take care of like health wise or whatever. So you're climbing this ladder, you're leveling up to your ability, the possibility that's out there for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is it for any one of you out there? It's like what is possible for you if you had perfect health or just good enough health, let's say. There's nothing major, right, happening. If you had obviously abundance that was enough, let's just say,
Mm-hmm.
what would you be doing with your life? Where would it be taking you? And I know that it may not be easy to answer just right off the bat like this, but at the same time, if we don't ever take time to sit with that possibility, just a possibility of what is my mission here? What can I do, not do?
Mhm.
How do I best fit into the things? So, and I love what Peter Crone talks to this specific point is that obviously life brings you circumstances and people where to show you where you are not yet free. And I feel equally it brings you opportunities, of course, to show you where you are free. And because like when you are experiencing the freedom, typically what happens, at least to me, is that I want to keep creating. It's
Yeah.
like there is no end to what I would want to create. Well, sometimes that happens, more frequently than not. And it's like, okay, well, there's only one of me, and there's only 24 hours in a day, and that 12 hours of that, you're either working or sleeping or something like that. So you really only have like, I don't know, eight or 9 or 10 hours of doing something, right? It's like,
Right.
how much can I get done? But nice problem to have, of course, at the same time. I feel like if we don't have like the long-term vision of some sort, then everything else that we're doing in life is kind of like we're going about something without a map.
Mm.
And so, like, if a plane has a destination going from one place to another, if it didn't have a compass, it'd be kind of wandering around all sorts of places. Not wrong, gets there
Mhm.
later at some point, maybe at some time, and it would experience all sorts of things. It's just that, like, at the back of my mind, what's, like you were just saying, like, what's the high level of my why am I here, of my mission in life? And you were just saying for yourself, it's like, yeah, show people where they are not loved, or point out how the fear can dissolve
Mhm.
so the love can again show up.
Yeah.
And so for you, the best way to do is through all the experiences you've gone through, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And so for myself, similarly, like I've gone through different experiences, and so I can do that again. So I feel like in some sense, we all have the same goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The starting point is, what do I want? Period.
Hmm.
What do I want?
Hmm.
Because without knowing what you want and knowing your desire, you don't know the vibration that you need to match in order to have it. Because in order to achieve the desire, any goal, we are to match the vibration of it, and it comes to us.
Hmm.
So the desire comes because it's there already, and our only job is to match to that. That's it. All the doing, it's not, okay, I need to have, unless you're a doctor, a lawyer, like you need to have a certain degree in a certain school. But when the desire comes, our only job is to match our vibration to the feeling of it. Then everything that we need to do is presented to us. Now, that might mean a couple of brain surgeries and spine surgeries, and it might mean that you have an illness, and it might mean that you lose a job, and it might mean that. So, like, but all those things come to you so that it's clearing it out.
Hmm.
Maybe you need to lose the job you're in because that's draining you and making you unable to vibrate at the frequency you need to vibrate at in order to go into your desire.
Yeah.
So, everything, the job loss, the illness, the anything, and we'll receive that the sooner that we say, what? What is this here for? If
Hmm.
we curl up in a ball and I hate my boss, I always hated my boss. Oh, I always knew there was something wrong with that company. They're a bad company, and everybody
Right.
there is bad, and this is bad, and I hate the commute, and I don't like where it is. If you do that, well, like that's going to put us back further in, right? But if we say, okay, there must be a reason that this is here for me. There must be something. What do I really want? What would I do if I could do anything? All these
Hmm.
questions that are in all the steps that coaches give us, like 3 steps to know your desire, and da 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 da
Yes.
da. But it's the what, the why, and all of that. And then, as you said earlier, the trust. Just zone in on your desire, on what you want, is what I say to people, and I say out there to anybody who's listening. Zone in on that. get clear. We've all heard it. We hear it all the time. Get clear on what you want. And that takes time because if we don't know it right away, like, and we can't just boom and write it down as soon as we're asked,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that there isn't one. And it doesn't mean that we're broken or that we're just not meant. Oh, no, I better just settle with this job because I can't really put it on paper. And oh, I hired this coach and we sat down and they said, well, you got to get real specific about what you want. Now I just spent all this money on a coach and now I can't answer the question. So I'm just going to stay at this job I'm in because, it just doesn't work and I don't know what I want now. So
Mm-hmm.
it takes time. You got to love yourself into the knowing of your desires. Sit with yourself. I always encourage to say, like, okay, well, if somebody was coming to you, somebody that you really loved and cared about, maybe a child or a younger person, and said, I just know that I really want something, but I just kind of don't know what. And I know there's more out there, but I just don't know. You would sit with them and ask them questions. Well, what do you like to do? What does it feel like? What does it feel like? If you had it, what would it feel like to be living out your desire? What do you think that would feel like? And just as soon as you start doing that, like, what would it feel like if I was doing every day? What would that feel like? Because the feeling is the vibration. Because that's always the next thing. Well, how do I know what the vibration is? The
Mm-hmm.
vibration is how we feel when we're doing the thing. Even if we don't know what the desire is, how would we feel if we had it?
Mm-hmm.
It'll lead us into it. It starts like waking things up because that's how spirit works, is asking question. Like source wants to answer us. It's just source is just waiting all the time for us just to ask questions.
Yeah.
And once we
Yeah.
start, it overflows.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you think of it in a sense of like, yes, the source, obviously the ever creative idea or whatever, universe, God, source,
Mhm.
consciousness, quantum field,
Yeah.
whatever we want to call,
Yeah.
is there.
Mhm.
And we are it also,
Mhm.
but we're temporarily having this experience in this human body, asking all these questions when part of our consciousness already knows the answer. But because we have separated ourselves from the source, that's like the way to put a veil through. And it's
Yes.
like, okay, I actually don't know, so I need to find out. But
Yeah.
if you just unveil, now you're back with the source, all the answers to the questions are there.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel like that's the point of the game.
Mhm.
It's like we put all
Yeah.
these shields in front, and then we're like wondering, like, I wonder what the answer is to the question. Well, you already know it,
Yeah.
so
Exactly. Yeah.
but you're just not tuned to it. So I just want to point that out. Like when people say tune to the source energy or the vibration or the frequency, right? How do you do that? Well, the source is love, and that
Mhm.
that sensation of beingness is that you're accepting whatever the love is, whatever you assign to
Mhm.
love. Now, of course,
Yeah.
if we grew up in some sort of painful families, or like there was a lot of trauma in families,
Mhm.
we have started to accept that love
Mm.
may also mean beating, or it may
Mhm.
also mean yelling, right? Which in some sense, yes, it's all encompassing. At the same time, depends on how we, again, back to like a meaning and a reaction to what we
Mhm.
give, the meaning that we give to that situation that we experienced.
Yeah.
Because love shows up in all sorts of ways. Sometimes feeling sad or feeling grief is love,
Mhm. Mhm.
because
Yeah.
that is appropriate action for the moment or reaction for the moment. And
Right.
so
Mhm.
as we come back again to that source connection is always there. Just like you said, ask a question,
Yeah.
reach for it.
Yeah. Yeah, like my answer to it is how do I do it? It's surrender. It's getting quiet, which is difficult,
Mhm.
especially if the noise level is really high.
Yeah.
about with the fear and the ego stuff, like, no, you need to figure it out now, and oh,
Yeah.
you're this age and what's wrong with you, you should know what you're gonna. Bullshit. If there is a situation and there are people who are abusive, that is just showing you the people that are abusive, they are separate from their knowing that they are love.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with trying to abuse us. That's how their pain's coming out of them.
Yeah.
And so we transform that by becoming the love that we are.
Yeah.
Of course, remove yourself when you can. Children, yeah, that's different story. But
Hmm.
children grow up. And when we grow up and we become able to realize that we have choices and we can make decisions and we can take care of ourselves, then we can be the example of it, because that's just a another wound or pain point. They're just in pain. That's all. It's their pain. And that's the way it's coming out of them. And they're separate from it. And
Hmm.
we might see people transform and we might not.
Hmm.
But for me, though, that's not the goal. If the goal of forgiveness and transformation is that other people change, that's not, that's still ego.
Yeah.
It's when we say, okay, I am going to make a decision to be love and all that
Hmm.
that means.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
And whatever happens with other people happens with other people.
Yeah.
And yes, that's hard when it's family, when it's people close to you, when it's spouses, when it's not sitting here saying that it's easy or there's some sort of light switch that, we can flip. But
Hmm.
that is the way.
Hmm.
And I've seen
Yeah.
people change over and
100%.
over and over again.
Oh yes, yes. And it
Mm,
was fun. I think on a side note here, it was fun to watch in the book club. One of the guys have I don't know if another awakening, but a huge awakening. It was
yeah.
so fun to experience that awakening with him,
Hmm.
and the depth of love that emerges out of that. It's like holy smokes.
Yeah.
It is so powerful, so powerful. Like
Hmm.
the certainty with which people speak, the confidence that comes around about you, it's just like it happens in that moment, and it's there. And now I feel like life is about practicing it, because
Hmm.
now that you've experienced it once, yes, I mean you're gonna wake up
Hmm.
tomorrow morning and it will feel all different, right? And or
Hmm.
a week from now, a month from now, it will feel all different. You will have had
Yeah.
all sorts of experiences that might have been even more difficult, perhaps,
Mm.
after that initial awakening situation. But the work and the practice, I feel for me, is in that remembering. It's
Yeah.
like being able to just go back to that feeling over and over and over and over
Hmm.
again. I mean, this is why, like I said before already, is like this is why I meditate. It's like I
Hmm.
feel like why
Yeah.
people meditate if they meditate is
Yeah.
to get back to that feeling of remembering that you're the essence and that you have everything that you already need.
Hmm.
And so starting to vibrate within you on that same level that the love vibrates,
Yeah.
being accepting, being
Hmm.
accepting, especially yourself. And one of the
Yeah.
things we discussed today also was that something in the sense like it's easy to love the parts of yourself that you like,
Yeah.
but it's not as easy to love the parts of yourself that you don't like.
Hmm.
And part of our work is in that. Like, how do I learn to love the part of myself I don't like? Okay.
Hmm.
And then again, like you were saying, it's like everybody around us is just a mirror to what we're doing. So if I'm experiencing something difficult happening in my life, where is it happening within me?
Yes.
Like you said, where is it
Hmm.
happening or what is happening?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's like, when you imagine, so our vehicles, right? They have the warning lights and bells and whatever that go off as notifications.
yeah.
Tire pressure's low, whatever.
Yep.
So if we are the vehicle and other people in our external environment, they're just the notifications. So, like, somebody that we're reactive to, that's just a notification that maybe the air's low in our tire. There's something low within us.
Yeah.
So they're just there to make us go look
Yeah.
at the gas gauge, the oil gauge, the tire pressure.
I love
Because
that.
if we feel them, that means because we're the vehicle.
Yeah.
So they're not in our vehicle. They're not
Yeah.
driving it. They're not maintaining it. They don't have anything to do with how our vehicle is running.
Yes. Right.
And so if there's a reaction and an alarm's going off, okay, well, are we going to yell at them because our tire pressure is low, or are we going to pull into the gas station and put air in our tire? Take care of the problem. So, but if we stay and we're out, oh, you, and I think you did it, and somehow it's your fault that my tire pressure is low.
Yeah.
I just know it's your fault somehow. And
Yeah.
I'm going to find a way, and I'm going to put my energy into figuring out why you're the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, well, buckle up because it's
Yeah.
going to get rough.
Yeah.
But if we just say, oh, okay, let me go look. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Problem
Yeah.
solved.
Yeah.
Done.
Absolutely.
Go
Absolutely.
put air in your tire. Go love
Yeah.
yourself.
And I feel like sometimes people go also in a somewhat of the opposite direction in this kind of thing. I love that you say notifications. That's awesome. Like
Yeah.
that the person is signifying the notification that's going off. But sometimes people I feel like say like back to your tire pressure or light whatever. If people go and say I will just like go into meditation and I will just, imagine that it's dissolving and a tire is getting fixed. I'm like, no, that's not gonna work, you know. Just go get the tire fixed. You're in a physical
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yes, it is important to meditate and it's important to do, I don't know, breath work and all these exercises to get ourselves in a state where we can take the action. But we still need to take the action.
And sometimes it's pouring rain when we have to get out of the car and put air in the tire.
Yeah.
Sometimes the whole situation is uncomfortable and
Yeah.
yes. But so what? Stay focused. Get it done. Get in, get out, get it done and, then move
Move on.
on.
Mhm.
But it's only when we stay in the action of the reaction. It's only when we stay in
Yeah.
that things keep going. And then we get what we are, not what we want. And
Yeah.
so that's the snowball. Oh, things keep happening to me. Oh my God. When it rains, it pours. It's just one thing after another. It's always something.
Mhm.
Well, are you driving around on a flat tire because you didn't put air in it? Okay, well, now your rim is probably damaged. Now the
Mhm.
alignment in the car is probably off now. So now
Mhm.
the problem is just going to get bigger. But if you had just gone and put air in the tire, or God forbid it goes flat and you're driving 80 on the highway and you have an accident, like there's always something that things keep getting worse.
Yeah.
It's all nudging us and positioning us because we are created in order for there to be more love in the world. That is why we are here.
Mhm.
Not to get better at fighting, to get better at debating, to get better at, being number one and being on the. No, we're here to come together, to be together, and to be as one and to work in harmony. And when things go wrong, to join one another and help. I remember being very young and being told that if I was being attacked, like someone was, that I should yell fire, not someone's attacking me. Because
Mm.
people are more likely to help you if you yell fire than if you're being
Mhm.
attacked.
Interesting.
I was probably, I'm going to say 9 or 10.
Mhm.
And I was like, what?
Mhm.
Like, wait, no,
Right. It doesn't make sense, right?
no. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, no, why should I have to? To me, it was wrong that I should have to do that. And I wanted to count on people more than that. Like, I didn't want to think that about other people in the world. I understand and I can see where it comes from because, yeah, fire is danger too. But like, if somebody's being attacked, like, everybody's going to fear being attacked also. Like, so they're not going to want to step in front of the situation. So I understand it
Mhm.
conceptually,
Mhm.
but like it just makes me think that. And painful things are only coming from people because they're in pain. So I believe that we should all be focused on, less pain in the world. What do we need to do to have less pain within people before the stuff happens? Not, okay, somebody did something wrong. Now we're going to put them in jail. We're going to punish them. We're going to do like everybody's like, that's all figured out. But I get it. But shouldn't we start somewhere? Like, why is it getting so much worse? Why
Mhm.
are people in more pain? And that's a big can of worms. But, you know, like it really, like we can be here and we can help one another. And there is another way.
Yeah, and back to what we started earlier at the beginning was that you said it starts with pain, and I feel that there is a lot of truth to that, at least from what I'm how I'm looking at this is this is again, where life, hello, tags
Hmm.
on us,
Hmm. Yeah.
where it's like calls us to action, right? To awaken us.
Hmm.
So in that sense, I feel like it starts with the pain where you awaken. Something
Hmm.
happens, and for most people out there, it's like something big happens typically when
Yeah.
something shifts in their perspective.
Hmm.
So when you start to experience difficulties, it's again for us, happening for us every time.
Hmm.
And the more difficult the situation is, more the life's trying to call your attention. Because perhaps at this
Hmm.
point, by this time, you might have already missed a few of these notification bells
Hmm.
that went off, kind of like you were saying on the car, the notification that has happened along the
Hmm.
way. And you just
Yeah.
snoozed these alarms and or ignored them or whatever.
Hmm.
And so then, like you
Yeah.
said, it snowballs.
Yeah.
And sometimes it catches us off guard, but we forgot that, oh yeah, I did snooze that alarm that time. Oh yeah, and then I snooze about 20 of them after that,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And so
Hmm.
now I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised that, I got canned from work or
Yeah.
or I got
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
got dumped by a
Yeah.
boyfriend or girlfriend, right? It's like there was something that was happening that was letting me know this is not where
Yeah.
you need to be. It just didn't listen. So back
Exactly.
again to the accountability. Can we take accountability for
Hmm.
something like this? This is
Yeah.
what it means to behave with authenticity, behave with awareness, right? It's like, how do you do it? This is how you do it. It's like
Hmm.
you are
Yeah.
living your daily life, and when the alarm happens, when your notification on your dashboard of your car shows up, you
Hmm.
go deal with it
Yeah. Yeah.
physically, do something with it about it.
Yeah.
Somebody, your father, your mother, your sibling, your cousin, whoever, stop talking with you, and that's their choice,
Hmm.
of course. You can
Hmm.
always ask, you can always say something, and if they don't respond, they don't respond, kind of thing. But
Hmm.
clear it out within yourself. It's like, okay, well, I didn't mean to hurt them. I didn't mean to say anything wrong or whatever,
Yeah.
in any way to hurt them. And
Hmm.
then perhaps there was something that I said that hurt them, but that's their meaning that they've
Yeah.
given.
Hmm.
So if they don't have interest to resolve some sort of an issue that might have transpired, that's on them. Okay, in
Yeah.
that sense. And
Hmm.
so being comfortable saying, you know what, I love you. I understand, I respect that you, right now don't want to talk with me because of something that you feel I have done or something that I have done, how you saw that. I understand that and I respect your space, whatever. And, let it be kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And
Totally. Yeah, because the goal isn't to get other people to act differently so that we feel better.
yeah,
Like the notification is here for us, for the
right.
receiver of it. And, the strongest warriors are given the biggest trials, right? Whatever's coming to us, it matches what we're here to do.
Hmm.
That's why we're never victims.
Hmm.
And when that starts to sort of match, and you start to say like, oh well, what is my desire? What am I here for? You know, what do I want to do? We're in this state of contemplation.
Yeah.
And so if you just reverse engineer sometimes and look back at life like it's some of the trials, Is there a theme of, mistrust?
Hmm.
Is there something? There's
Hmm.
always a theme. But
Hmm.
to your point, meditation,
Hmm.
and listen, you know, start small. I say to people, like, because sometimes, like, "Ugh, you want me to sit still now? Like I'm in agony and I'm thinking, and my mind is going crazy, and you want me to sit still with that? I don't want to be alone with that. Like, no, I don't want to be in here by myself. Like, no."
Right.
And so but like that's where the themes show up, and we can look and say, "Oh, yeah, it seems like all my trials seem to have this like theme of, mistrust or anger or whatever it might be." You'll see it. I say to people, like
Yeah.
it's if you look, if we'll always see it if we just look.
Oh, yes. It's like that saying that's have you noticed it with all the problems that are happening in your life, you're there. It's like,
Wherever
ouch.
you go, there you are. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's another one of those, right? So we are
Mhm.
the common problem to our problems, right? As Peter Krohn likes to point out, the very mind that created the problem is now trying to create a solution to that
Mhm.
problem,
Yeah. Yeah.
just so it's not bored, I guess, or
Right.
something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's been
But
the teaching. Like, if you look back, like all the teachers, like everybody says it.
yeah,
This has been
yeah,
told to
so many
us
times.
by, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever,
Yeah,
and all the teachers have been telling us this,
yeah,
be love, surrender, and, let go of the mind,
yeah.
let the heart lead. And because if the mind is leading, then we're going to point towards the blame and judgment and conditions and all that stuff. And I am asked often, well, how do you know if it's your intuition that's pointing you and towards your desire? And, how do you know?
Hmm.
Well, your intuition is love, because your intuition is God, because that's what you are. And it never, ever, ever, never, ever, never, never, never will say, "Ooh, what'd you do that for? Oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, no, that's not." Doubt, fear, um, conditions,
Hmm.
judgment, never. Our intuition never ever talks to us that way. So if messages like that are coming, it's the mind, that's the ego, that's the
Hmm.
doubt, the fear, things like that. And the intuition, it sounds like your own voice. It's not different. It doesn't make you like, "Oh," like you don't cringe when you hear it. When it's the ego and it's doubt or fear, it's like, "Oh," and we want to like turn away from it.
Hmm.
Intuition never ever talks that way.
Hmm.
And it's like, what are you doing when you feel good?
Hmm.
That's love. That's your heart.
Yeah.
And it really is possible to go through life and do what you want to do. Yes, you
Hmm.
might have a 9 to 5 that doesn't have anything to do with it. But if you're diligent, who you are can come out in what you do in terms of out in the world and jobs and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like, basically the idea is to take the inspired action.
Yes.
And if you have, like, if you're in a state of being at the moment where your mind is overriding, your persona is overriding, and you don't take the
Mm-hmm.
action that was inspired at the moment, it's no big deal. You can repeat it again later. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get another chance. You'll get another chance, another chance. You get 1,000 of them if you want to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you are also missing timelines,
Mm.
synchronicities with other people. So things get postponed, and in this human life, it will feel like days, months, years have to go by until you choose. Because in
Mm.
some sense, if we're acting from the place of inspiration in the moment that we feel inspired, if it's possible anyway, like let's say that you're, I don't know, having a bath and you're super inspired. Well, you're probably not going to act right away because you're in a bathtub, right? But you know, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you can act in the moment or soon, it's appropriate because you have been given that as a gift at the moment that you've been given it, and it
Mm-hmm.
is your responsibility to do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you take that as far as you can within the limits of your abilities. with some level of engagement, love, joy, appreciation, whatever in that sense. So if there is, for instance, you get inspired that you should start building a little geodomes community. Okay. If that inspiration just came to you, okay, we'll keep it alive and then see like, okay, so look up something about that on the internet, find out what's available around in your area or in the area you want to go and then starts talking to people about it and start getting see who responds back to that excitement about building community of these little dome homes that are fun to live in, and if that happens you'll start getting more and more people interested in such idea. And then you never know, and somebody may show up, they actually deal with this kind of stuff every day and they'll be like, oh yeah, I would love to help you with that. And all of a sudden now it's a snowball reaction action again.
Yeah.
Now it's snowballing in the sense that this is part of something that you came here to build, maybe. So if you have something like that as an inspired thought that you just feel like, oh my God, this sounds so fun. I want to go do that right now, right? So research about it, figure out what can be done, and start doing stuff with that. If it takes small, like you said, small steps. I can't build a company in one day, put together a website, put together some plans, whatever, get the thought, vision, what you had on the paper, right?
Yeah.
uh, or on a computer, whatever these days, right? And have that vision on your mind and continue with that every day. It's like one of the writers that I used to follow earlier in my awakening, in my 20s. That one of the awakenings was holding the vision. Was the term, that holding the vision, and he wrote a book on that as well. It's like, yes, it's our responsibility at that moment once you have the vision of some sort, wake up the next morning and go, it would be a lot more easy to just go about your day and ignore the vision. And we do that. But can you return to that same state of mind, state of being that you were previous day where you were excited about this vision? Can you return to that in your meditation and sitting still, like you're saying? Bring it back to the foreground of your mind and then move on with that.
Love it. Yeah. It's everything is about how we feel.
Yeah.
And so if there's less focus on the things and the material things and the doing of things, and if we can start to just focus a little more on how we feel and then return to that feeling,
Mhm.
then we're not even, if we're focused on the feeling, we're then not asking the mind to go remember detailed, oh, what was I thinking about? What are the details how did I feel? And that'll
Mhm.
lead you in and it'll get bigger.
Mhm.
If the focus is on the feeling, then the feeling offers a container for the desire to expand in because the feeling is coming from love. And love is all expansive, it's limitless, it's infinite. So whatever we bring into it transforms into it, but that's the fertile soil so it can grow.
Mhm.
And so if we can focus on the feeling, which is love, that's the ex- expansion. Like that's
Mhm.
what's going to keep it burning more. And
Mhm.
I love what you're saying about just one small step.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be big. Like not it's sort of unlearning all of the achieve, do more, 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 go faster, do more, quicker, do more and let no, opposite. It's opposite of what we're taught in school. It's
Mhm.
unlearning all of it. One tiny step in the feeling of love is comparable to a whole school and college career. It can be,
Mhm.
depending on how much of that focus you put on it. That
Mhm.
steadfast, it's devotion, it's dedication. And that's how we heal from illness. That's where we see people like these miraculous healings and
Yes.
people that, we don't know how they walk, we don't know how they talk, we don't know how they're this, not one of the statistics of everybody else that had the thing. And when you were talking about small steps, I remember when I started writing, I was back from college from riding, but I was managing a barn. And so I was in charge of managing the barn and then giving lessons. And one day I'd always thought about writing. I always loved writing and reading all my life. I always wrote, right? And so this one day, one of the other trainers needed me to fill in for them and teach a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know the person, had never met them before. I was taking care of their horse was boarded with us, and they would come and take lessons. So
Mm-hmm.
this person was Barbara Dana Arkin. Alan Arkin was her husband, and her son might have that reversed, but they're famous. They were on movies. They're all famous movie stars and whatever. But I didn't, even when she told me her name, I didn't know this.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're in the ring. She's on her horse, and so we're just walking, just warming up. It's the beginning. Somehow it came up who she is and that she's an author. And I said, "Oh, I've always wanted to write. How would I go about that?" And she gave me this very scientific, long explanation. She said, "Start writing." And I was like, "Okay." So I was like, "All
That
right."
was
So
underwhelming.
I'm in my 20s, but it was like, but then it was such a relief.
Yeah.
And then she said to me, and so she could tell by the way I was talking, that I had a love for it, that it wasn't just something, she knew, could tell that. So
Right.
she said, "Yeah, feel free if you want to write some stuff and, send it to me. I'll look at it. I'll read it." I said, "Really?" "Yeah." Okay. I went home and started writing. And so my point in bringing it up is couldn't get a smaller step than start writing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a step. That's a small, like I need a pen and a piece of paper. Start writing. You
Right.
don't need to go out and buy, spend $5,000 on a fancy computer and a thing. Like, get a pen and a piece of paper and start writing.
Yeah.
And there it went, right?
Yeah.
But if I hadn't have said I always wanted to write, then I wouldn't have gotten that answer, and then I wouldn't have started writing.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the responsibility of paying attention when we feel that desire. And then
Yeah.
you do one small thing. And if we're always moving, is it Thoreau that says advance confidently in the direction of your desires? So if we just keep advancing in the direction of a desire, it might take other turns. And so maybe our desires to, whatever it is, and we're following that, but then we end up doing something else. Maybe, we don't end up being an author, we end up being a speaker or leading workshops or something. But it's still in the same frame of everything that you would, maybe write about or do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's having the desire, but being open to however it comes.
Mm-hmm.
So when I pray, meditate, put it out there, I speak it. If I'm really clear, I speak it very clearly. But if not, I say, "This is what's in my heart. Guide me, show me. You
Mm-hmm.
place in me what I need." And I say, "You out to source, God, universe. Show
Mm-hmm.
me." And then all day long, that's all I do. And then I pay attention, which is just awareness in that surrendered state. So my job is to stay in awareness and to stay in that stillness and that tuned in awareness, because then all day long things happen. And
Yeah.
it's not just me, it's anybody that does it. If you pay attention, it's there, because that's what God's source spirit wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, if we don't follow our desires, the world will just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about it. If
Mm-hmm.
everybody just stopped following desires, doing things, I mean, the world would stop. There would be no evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would change, nobody would grow. And so we're serving the world by following our desires.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
important. It's
Yeah.
not by how big your bank account is. That's not
Mm-hmm.
what's serving the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're serving the world by, we all are, by doing what it is that our heart desires. And it's, we're all different.
And like it was said in that quote of Marianne Williamson, that, playing small doesn't help anybody really.
No,
You're playing small is not going to make something happen really.
no.
That's so you came here to be who you are and just came here to shine kind of thing, where a lot of times we end up hiding ourselves behind something or someone because we again feel like we don't matter, we're not good enough. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know we've already spoke to that, but that's like the plague of the society. I feel it's like one of
Yeah.
the main constraints I think the human nature has is that
Mhm.
somehow we are flawed, somehow we're not good enough
Yeah.
to fulfill on whatever it is that we came here to fulfill on, which is in its way complete oxymoron because we are here.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
came here with
Yeah.
some sort of a mission, with some sort of purpose. We are here
Yeah.
for a reason. Our only job is to find out what that reason is.
Yeah.
And, being in that space where you're connected with this essence, with this divine source,
Yeah.
again, God, universe, whatever, being in that space, you can figure out what your mission is in
Yeah.
life.
Right.
If you're not forcing, if you're allowing, if you're paying attention, listening, back to again, we have two ears, one mouth. Just spend more
Yeah.
time listening.
Yeah.
It things will come to you. Yeah.
Yeah. And if somebody says, "Well, how do I know?" How do you feel? When you feel
Yeah.
good, you're on the right path. I'll add to what you said, settling. The settling.
Hmm.
Like if we settling leads to resentment.
Yes.
Whatever it is, if it's settling in a job, we're going to
Hmm.
resent our boss. Settling in a
Hmm.
relationship, we're going to resent the person we're in a relationship with.
Hmm.
And so you're not being of service and kind, saying yes to a relationship, a job, a friend, anything, saying a yes and settling because you don't think you can get a better job,
Hmm.
you're going to resent them. You're not
Yeah.
doing anybody any favors. It's not helpful. That's not
Hmm.
loving
Hmm.
because it's you're going to resent them and poison yourself and them with it.
Yeah, for sure. There
Yeah.
was a book recently, some guy that I was watching one of the podcasts was talking about his book, and he called it settling up.
Mm.
Not settling down, like,
Yeah.
you're getting older and you're
Yes.
settling down, kind of slowing down life kind of thing. No,
Mm-hmm.
just like settling up, kind of like leveling up in sense.
Yes.
I would translate
Yeah.
it differently, but that same idea,
Yeah.
where
Yep.
that's what's important. It's like, yeah, like you said, beautifully said. Like the leads to
Mm-hmm.
regrets. And
Yeah.
who wants to live with
Yeah.
regrets? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. People out there,
Yeah.
we do live with regrets, but do we want to? No, nobody really
Mm-hmm.
wants to, but yet we do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that on the conclusion for this podcast, again, just look into your pause for moments during their days and look into your own being in your heart. Feel,
Mm.
be still, and allow yourself to change your vibration. Tune in to this source-like energy. So, when you're in love with life, when you're in love with
Mm.
everything.
Yeah.
It's being in that state is the guiding principle. If you want to know what your mission in life is, if you want to know why are you here, what's your purpose, tune yourself into these kind of states
Mm-hmm.
of being. Find gratitude. That's one of the shortcuts.
Yeah.
Gratitude is a shortcut to finding this feeling of connection with everything and everyone and
Mm.
loving, right?
Yeah.
So start naming things for what are you grateful for,
Yeah.
and truly pause when you say something. Let's say I'm grateful for my car, for
Mm.
one, just a, small thing, right? But big thing also,
Mm-hmm.
because it allows me to move around, allows me to have freedom, really, of like I want to go somewhere, I can go there because I have car, right?
Mm.
Gratitude for people in your life, whatever it is. Repeating what you're grateful for
Mm.
often enough until you feel, oh my God, I feel so blessed all of a sudden. It's like I was seeing bills coming in all the time and I was like resentful of the bills coming in.
Mm.
But now I'm like, you know what? I'm paying city for water, for electricity that I can utilize in my house
Mm-hmm.
to have this privilege. Back in the days of kings and queens, they did not have that,
Yeah.
Plumbing and electricity, that's like nobility,
Yeah.
it's a super noble
Yeah.
thing to have, right?
Right.
So I really encourage you all to step into that space
Mm-hmm.
and as often as you can, if you
Mm-hmm.
are in search for like why are you here, what you're here to do.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. Build a relationship with yourself and focus on what you're doing when you feel good, and then keep focusing on that, and that'll lead you there. Yeah. Love
Beautiful.
it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Mm,
spending again time with me today,
hmm.
Tammy. And thank you guys
Yes.
for listening to another session of Awaken Aware podcast. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. If you have enjoyed the session, as usually, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell if you are interested in knowing when we put out a new episode. Of course, we're trying to get these out weekly. So if you have any suggestions, let us know in the comments, and we shall look forward to seeing you again soon, next week, next month, whenever you tune in. And have a wonderful life. Enjoy your days. Sending much love. Take good care.